On this video, we're going to be talking about brakes on the Corvette. The Corvette has a couple issues with the C5 and C6 coming with ABS systems that are really annoying to set up to have good proportion front to rear and make it difficult to drift well. Especially with the booster, we have made an increased leverage booster delete that connects to the factory brake pedal and offers a dual master setup. I know a lot of you guys saw this on the Pro Car build probably 6 to 8 months ago, but we're going to go in depth and talk about what this does, what the ratio improvement is, and how it will make your car feel like a race car and perform way better than anything you could do, any ABS kit that you can come up with, because the booster and left foot braking and braking in general kind of sucks on the Corvette. You can't just delete the master and run an inline master cylinder because the ratio of the factory pedals is too low. We need to increase that ratio, get more leverage so that we can keep the same brake pressure. Starting with this assembly is what you see on this car here. So in designing this system, we made this lever, which is a billet aluminum piece that effectively takes the pressure from your foot on the brake pedal. It transfers it through this lever, it increases the ratio, and then it applies that pressure to 2 master cylinders here. And you can see that action happening right there. We also have the ability to adjust the bias, and by the bias, I mean, if I thread this off for you guys, just a little bit, thread it off a little bit, back that off, twist this out. Okay, let's see if you can slither on in there. You see that bearing? See the bearing, Jack?
Yeah, I see the bearing.
Okay, so that bearing slides left to right within this housing. So what that does is, the closer that the bearing is to either the front or rear master cylinder is going to apply more pressure due to the leverage on that cylinder. So mechanically, we're able to bias the front of the car up to probably 65 to 70%, give or take, depending on your master sizes and how those percentages work. Basically, I run 2 3/4 masters. Basically, mechanically, 65 to 70% of your brake foot pressure is going to go to the front. We could even it out, and we could even put more to the rear, not that you'd ever want to do that. But that can all be done through this setup. Also on my car, just additional information, I run a proportioning valve as well. So I can further bias the front because I don't really want a ton of brake pressure in the rear, to be honest. If I really need to stop quickly, I can push the brake ridiculously hard, or I can pull my handbrake, and that'll lock up the rear just fine. Now that we've showed you the mechanical bias portion, we can go over how this actually bolts into the car. Essentially, you're gonna slide these bolts in through the inside of the firewall, and then you're gonna clamp the bolt to the firewall with this nut. You're gonna do that times 4. So essentially, you're gonna have 4 studs sticking out of the firewall. You then take your assembly, you slide it on the 4 studs, and then you finish the job by tightening these nuts onto it. That is gonna give you your install of your booster delete. This simply goes into the factory pedal. This hole fits the factory pin. This rod end is adjustable so that you can adjust how far or how close the lever begins or starts. And that adjustment is there depending on your masters. Some masters have longer shafts than others. If you're running a Tilton or a Wilwood or a different type or a different size or a different style, some of them have remote reservoirs, some of them have the ports here, some of them have the ports there. It really all depends. They make them for all different setups. So that is adjustable there. And then obviously you have your adjustment here as well. So you have 2 points. You should be able to fit basically any master cylinder on this setup. Now let's talk about the ratio. This lever or lever, I don't know where you're from or what you call it, but I'm gonna call it a lever. This lever increases the factory pedal ratio of 3.7 and it moves it to a 5.7. So that is going to give you more pressure with a longer stroke required, and it will improve your braking feel and your braking potential without a booster. Boosters are one of those things in drifting where, based off vacuum assistance, you will find that different brake pressure is required. For example, if you're trying to left foot brake at wide open throttle, you will have no braking assistance because the booster is relying on the vacuum, which there is no vacuum when the throttle plate is wide open. So when you don't have full throttle, you're going to have varying degree of pressure required whenever you have a booster. It's very difficult to perfect this, and it's going to have a lot of variables on performance whenever braking. So deleting that is going to be the best thing that you can do. That's what we did. I am very good at driving with fantastic throttle control and braking control because of these products and because of years of driving and practice. I recognize that it's something that is necessary, so trust me when I tell you, this is a fantastic upgrade. Now I'm going to show you the pedal side of things from in the car as best I can, because we also did something interesting to the clutch pedal and we did something interesting with the gas pedal. So this car has full custom pedals basically without doing a pedal box. So let's look at the clutch quick because we're already there. Down here, don't mind the dirt, we got to clean it, but this Wilwood Master is your standard handbrake Wilwood Master that you would see on anyone's setup. Now what we did was we took out the factory pedal assembly, we kind of mocked it up, and then when I went in to install the Master, I realized not only did the Master not fit at all, but the ratio was going to be way too aggressive. I would have moved the clutch pedal this much and it would have pushed the master cylinder all the way in. Not going to work. So basically the pedal is like an inch thick. I did some measuring, I did some ratio calculations on a factory Wilwood pedal. I drilled a new hole, popped it in, threaded it, and then I put a 3/8 rod end connected to the factory clutch pedal, made a jack screw shaft, welded a bracket that held the new Master to it. So a lot going on there, and I can't really show you because I'm not taking it out of the car. But if you were ever to look at a factory Corvette pedal assembly, you'll see exactly what I had to do. Maybe we'll make a product on the second car. Let us know if you need something like that. And maybe there's something online that I'm not aware of, but I really wanted to use products that are relatively available at any track. I'm sure they offer Corvette Clutch Master upgrades because the factory one's made of plastic, but I wanted to have products like the 3/4 Wilwood that's everywhere. Everyone's using it. Anyways, let's move on to the inside. In here, we've got the beautiful grip tape setup and lights. Whoa, Jack. All right, so I'm just gonna sit in there, and while talking, I'm gonna use my feet and show you with my big boots what's going on. Take a seat. All right, so we've got our clutch pedal here. It's the perfect throw, and if I can show you, I don't know if I can see anything, but you can see where the new bolt and rod end is way up there. And then on this, you can see how pushing the pedal actuates the Masters on the other side. We'll get Jack to record that. And then this is the most interesting thing ever that a lot of people have asked about. And it is my completely custom with dual bump stop adjustment to set the perfect 100% throttle, no throttle, cable setup in a Corvette with this spatula looking thing. All made out of the same alloy steel that we use in our angle kits. Very lightweight, very strong, and it works amazing. Whoa. I mean, that just about does it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be asking, can I buy that gas pedal? The answer to that is going to be a delayed yes. To perfect it for, you know, the user, the end user, I basically drilled a hole through the firewall in kind of a random spot. I bought a bit of a random cable kit off Summit Racing, and then I made that all work. So the reason I wouldn't sell it is because all of that stuff was custom, and if I sell this, the profit is not going to account for people asking these random questions over the customer service email. So until I find an exact cable solution that works for multiple setups and throttle body styles, I won't sell this gas pedal. The only way I would sell it is if you actually DM'd me and we made it and you're aware that you got to sort out the cable side of it and you got to drill your own hole. That's the only way I would ever sell it, because we don't have time to deal with stuff like that. And we made this to work with our setup, and work it does, but it's not something that we're really interested in selling because it would be such a low quantity sale. But anyways, you guys are welcome to message me and ask. That's how I do my pedals in this car. This car handles relatively the same as my S14, which actually does have a pedal box. We essentially made the factory pedals, clutch and brake, into a pedal box by doing everything that I did, but the factory pedals are so good in a Corvette, so lightweight, so well produced and manufactured, that I wanted to keep them. Why change something that works well? Other than that, thank you guys for watching. That is some data, some good information for you. And the next video is probably going to be one of the most important. We're going to talk about all of the handbrake options available for a Corvette, all of the braking options available for the Corvette, how and why we design them, and what you can do to run them, because there's a lot of interesting information there that people just don't know. See you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Out. Done.